our customer Zillow came to us, many, many years ago, thinking about similar problems. How are we going to get rated well? And in fact, we're Zillow. We have this thing called a Zestimate. We actually score and estimate the value of homes. So we have like a tremendous amount of things that we're doing that are reputation oriented already, but our app store reputation maybe is not so great. And so we started to work with Zillow, and we talked to them about how to manage that app store reputation and get some other more large fans that talk about them and evangelize. And sure enough, that work was really great. But then what we did is we expanded with them. Again, we're talking about is this whole concept of like brand reputation is across the entire business, and what's in the app store is tip of the iceberg. Well, what we started to find was that there are really meaningful opportunities for Zillow to understand the experience of somebody shopping for a home. There are many pieces of that shopping for a home. So people would actually go to open houses that were arranged by Zillow. Well, because they're using the app, because that digital signpost of the app is in their hands as they go to the showing, they found out they could use us, right, Alchemy Mobile, to solicit feedback from people who are going to the showings, maybe even while they're in the showings, to understand how that impacted their experience with Zillow. Was this making them more reliant upon it? Because in many ways, Zillow wants to provide lots of information value before they offer transaction value, that actual purchase of a home or the renting. And if they can give you information value and they can check in with you, well, that's really important. So they used us to measure that. And that was just a piece of the experience that really weren't able to measure before, because they might send out an email to you a week or two after you'd gone to a showing, but it was just really old information. It wasn't stuff that you recalled. But by putting it in that moment, they're able to flesh out this understanding. And they said, all right, well, now we have a better picture of what's going on when our customers leave their house and they go to an open house and how they feel. What else should we be thinking of? And then, at the executive level, they said, well, we have this NPS dashboard and we measure NPS, but our tools for measuring NPS are actually really quite limited to our email experience. So we will send you an NPS measurement after you take certain actions, or potentially on the web, but we're not doing that as actively as we could. And then we have all these people in the mobile app who we're not asking NPS questions of. And so we have a whole segment of our population that is probably our most engaged, most valuable population using our apps, but we're not measuring NPS there. So they turned on, again, with Alchemy Mobile, the opportunity to measure NPS, and they lit up all this data and they brought it into the executive dashboards. And all of a sudden they said, oh, well, now we see our NPS in mobile is different from our NPS on the web, which is different from our NPS in email. And we have a much more robust picture of what does our brand really look like? Not just how do we feel based upon the measurement tools we have, but what do our customers say across all of these journeys? And really, when you think about what that did at Zillow, is it meant that they had on a regular basis the right information, right? Because they're measuring across all of the channels their customers, and they have a lot more of it. In fact, in mobile, what we saw was a large increase in the amount of volume of feedback they were getting to the NPS surveys. And that really rounds out a better understanding of brand. And that's what we're here talking about, is how do you really understand what your brand reputation looks like? And I think what we found with Zillow is they went from reactive to proactive, and they went from one or two channels to all of the channels. And as a result, their measurement of brand reputation is much more sophisticated and kind of like where I would encourage people to go.